Welcome to Trending Update USA. I'm Stefan, and today we're looking at a moment that feels bigger than just tennis. When a top athlete says, "I'm so happy," after an emotional experience, what does that really mean? Is it just about winning, or is it something deeper, something about pressure, identity, and finally finding peace in a world that never stops watching? Because when Aryna Sabalenka shared her emotional reaction and followed it up with big personal news, it wasn't just another headline. It felt real. It felt human. And maybe that's why it connected so strongly with fans around the world. Let's first take a quick look at what actually happened. Sabalenka, one of the most powerful and dominant players in modern women's tennis, recently had a visibly emotional moment, one that wasn't just about competition. Whether it came after a tough match, a meaningful win, or even a personal milestone, her reaction stood out. She wasn't hiding behind the usual composed athlete persona. Instead, she expressed pure emotion. And shortly after, she shared what many are calling big news, something positive, something personal, something that clearly meant a lot to her. Her words, "I'm so happy," may sound simple. But in the context of professional sports, especially at the elite level, those words carry weight. Because happiness, for athletes like Sabalenka, is not always easy to come by. We often see players at the top of their game and assume they're living the dream. Big trophies, global recognition, financial success. But what we don't always see is the constant mental pressure that comes with it. Every match is scrutinized. Every loss is questioned. Every emotion is analyzed. And Sabalenka knows this better than most. Her journey hasn't been smooth. There have been ups and downs, both on and off the court. Moments of dominance, yes, but also moments of struggle. Particularly with consistency and mental composure earlier in her career, which she has openly worked on improving. So when she says she's happy, it's not just about a result. It's about growth. It's about resilience. It's about surviving the pressure and coming out stronger. And this is where the story becomes more than just tennis. Because in today's sports world, athletes aren't just competitors. They're public figures living under constant exposure. Social media has changed everything. Platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok have brought fans closer to athletes, but they've also removed the barrier that once protected players from constant judgment. Every performance is instantly discussed. Every mistake is replayed. Every emotional reaction becomes content. For someone like Sabalenka, who plays with visible intensity and emotion, that spotlight can be overwhelming. And yet, instead of shutting down, she chose to be open. That matters. Because we're seeing a shift in sports culture. More athletes are speaking about mental health, about pressure, about the emotional reality behind the scenes. And Sabalenka's moment fits into that bigger movement. It reminds us that athletes are not machines. They're people. They feel doubt. They feel stress. And when they say they're happy, it often means they've overcome something we didn't even see. Let's talk about that emotional moment itself. What stood out wasn't just the words, it was the authenticity. There was no script. No media training filter. Just a genuine reaction. And in a world where athletes are often expected to maintain a polished image, that kind of honesty is powerful. It creates connection. Fans don't just want to see perfection, they want to see reality. They want to understand what their favorite players go through. And moments like this bridge that gap. But there's also another side to this. While social media allows athletes to share their truth, it also exposes them to constant noise. Supportive comments, yes, but also criticism, negativity, and unrealistic expectations. So when Sabalenka shares something personal, when she opens up, it's a risk. A risk of being misunderstood. A risk of being judged. A risk of losing privacy. And that brings us to an important question. How much of themselves should athletes be expected to share? In today's environment, there's almost an unspoken pressure to be accessible. Fans want updates. They want insights. They want personality. But at the same time, athletes need space. They need boundaries. Sabalenka's moment highlights this balance. She gave fans something real, but she also reminded us that behind every post, every interview, there's a person managing their own emotional world. And maybe that's why her words resonated so much. Because happiness, in this context, isn't just about success, it's about balance. It's about finding a way to exist in a high-pressure environment without losing yourself. And that's not easy. Especially in tennis. Unlike team sports, tennis is deeply individual. There's no one to hide behind. No shared responsibility. When you win, it's on you. When you lose, it's also on you. That kind of pressure builds over time. And for players at the top, like Sabalenka, it's constant. Every tournament matters. Every performance affects rankings, reputation, and confidence. So when she experiences a moment of emotional release, when she allows herself to feel, it's significant. It shows that even at the highest level, the mental side of the game is just as important as the physical. In fact, it might be more important. Because talent alone isn't enough. You need resilience. You need self-awareness. You need the ability to manage expectations, both from others and from yourself. And Sabalenka's journey reflects that evolution. She's not just a powerful hitter anymore. She's a more complete athlete, mentally and emotionally. And that's why this big news moment feels different. It's not just an update. It's a reflection of where she is in her life and career. Now let's zoom out a bit. What does this mean for the broader sports world? Moments like this contribute to a growing conversation about athlete well-being. We've seen similar discussions with other players across sports, conversations about burnout, pressure, and the need for mental health support. And each time an athlete speaks openly, it pushes the conversation forward. It makes it more normal, more accepted, more understood. Sabalenka's words might seem simple, but they're part of that larger shift. They remind us that success isn't just about winning titles. It's about feeling fulfilled. It's about being able to say, honestly, I'm happy, and mean it. For fans, this is also a moment to reflect. We often celebrate athletes for their achievements, but do we consider the cost? Do we think about the pressure they face every day? Do we recognize the emotional side of their journey? Because supporting an athlete shouldn't just mean cheering when they win. It should also mean understanding when they struggle, respecting their boundaries, and appreciating their honesty. Sabalenka gave us a glimpse into her world, and it's up to us how we respond to that. Now, as we come toward the end of this discussion, let's bring it back to the bigger picture. Why does this matter beyond tennis? Because this isn't just about one athlete. It's about how we view success. It's about how we define happiness. In a world that often prioritizes results over well-being, moments like this remind us that emotional health matters. That it's okay to feel. That it's okay to express. And that true success includes inner peace, not just external achievements. Sabalenka's "I'm so happy" isn't just a statement. It's a message. A message about growth. About resilience. About finding your place in a demanding world. And maybe, just maybe, it's something we can all learn from. Because whether you're an athlete or not, the challenge is the same: finding happiness in the middle of pressure. Finding balance in the middle of chaos. And staying true to yourself when the world is watching. That's what makes this story meaningful. Not the headline. Not the moment. But what it represents. And that's why it matters. Before we wrap up, here are a few questions for you. What do you think happiness really means for top athletes like Aryna Sabalenka? Do you believe social media helps or harms athletes' mental well-being? Should athletes share more of their personal lives, or keep things private? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching Trending Update USA. I'm Stefan, and I'll see you in the next one.